everyone, it's Erin here, and today we're going to do a video, a reminiscence session, and the theme of today's session is home and garden. So I'm going to go through a few little bits that we've got here and think about some things that we might remember from our homes. First question is, did anyone buy their own house? So lots of different places that people may have lived. Obviously we've got houses, so semi-detached, terraced houses, detached houses, bungalows. And did anybody have a prefab house? So lots of people had prefabs after the war, they were rehoused. Does anybody remember living in a prefab building? So that'd be a really interesting question. So the first thing I have here is an advert. These are for some houses in Surrey. And it says that it's £695. So the average of these houses are 3-bedroom houses, so fairly large, but not too large. And there's no date on this, but I was looking this up, trying to research earlier, and it looks as if it was sort of 1930s, maybe late 1930s. So yeah, it's very interesting. The value of these houses now is somewhere around 450,000. So if you bought this at this price, then I'm sure that you're quite happy at the moment. Yeah, so it says £7.14 a week buys your home. So how much was your home? If that's if that's okay to ask, that would be really interesting to know. So let's think about some of the things we had in the home. Did anyone have an outside toilet? That's always an interesting question. So I think now, if you have an outside toilet, the house isn't fit for habitation, but I think outside toilets were extremely common years ago. So I have a picture here of a loo. This one has a flusher, but obviously I'm sure not all of them did. What was your outside toilet like? Was it at the end of the garden or a lean-to at the side of the house? And there's a picture here of some newspaper cut up and hanging on a string. Any guesses what that might have been used for? Perhaps we'll have to start doing that now. And then some Isle. What did Isle feel like? Medicated toilet tissue. Isle's a bit like greaseproof paper, maybe? I think it's probably the closest thing. What about your kitchen? Did you have a fridge? We spoke about this a little bit in the cookery and food video. How did you keep your food cool? Did you have a meat safe?
How else did you keep your food cool? Were any of you lucky enough to have a fridge? And more importantly, how did you cook your food? What kind of stove did you have? And who remembers cooking toast on an open fire?
How is your home heated? That's an interesting question. So in my housewife's book, which we looked at last week, we have lots of different methods of heating the home. Some lovely fireplaces there. So we've got electric heating, central heating and gas heating. How was your home heated? Some homes were only heated by a stove. So when you were a child, did you ever wake up in the morning with ice on the inside of the windows? And were you ever given a ceramic hot water bottle to keep yourself warm? What day was laundry day? Hopefully people are saying Monday. So laundry day was Monday. Perhaps you would heat up the water in a copper boiler, which may have had to have been filled by hand. So once that was on the boil, you could put your whites in there. Give them a mix with a dolly or one of these. This item here is for your soap. So you could save your bars of soap inside for washing. Make sure you didn't waste any. So I think soap was rationed as well in the 40s and 50s. So your whites would be boiled. You also might use a washboard. So a washboard to get rid of all the dirt stains on the collars and cuffs. And then once the washing was wrung out, what would you have used to get the moisture out of the clothes before you hung them out? Possibly one of these, which is a mangle. So a big iron mangle, turning that. Did you ever turn the handle of the mangle for your mum or for your gran? And once your clothes have gone through the mangle, you then would use some dolly pegs or an airer, a clothes horse. to dry them out. And after perhaps the 50s or 60s, you may have been lucky enough to get a washing machine or a twin tub washing machine. So have a conversation about washing, because I know many of you probably spent quite a few hours doing the laundry. So we do have it quite lucky now that it's all done for us. So once the laundry is dry, you need to get the creases out. Oh, it's quite heavy. Does anyone remember using one of these, a flat iron? So this would have been heated up on the stove or on the fire. You may have had more than one on the go at once. And you would use this to iron your clothes whilst it was still hot. And what did you do to check the base of the iron was hot enough? That wasn't a real spit. You spit on it to test. If it makes a sizzling noise, then it's nice and hot. And you probably have a cloth on your hand so that you didn't burn yourself. So that was another very big job, probably on Tuesday. Getting everything nice and ironed and ready. Who had an electric iron? If you had an electric iron, did anybody plug the iron into the light socket? Or did their mums do that? They remember them plugging it in above their heads, because you might not have had enough wall sockets. That's quite an interesting question. So for the final part of the video, let's think about doing the garden. Did anybody grow their own? Now I know that my colleague Heather is quite a keen gardener. She plants a lot of vegetables and things to eat. And we will do an update on that soon. But for now, you're going to have to make do with my garden. I was going to use the screen to show you some pictures, but it's really reflective. It's not really working. So let's look at some seedlings, and then we will have a look outside. So I'm going to turn the camera around. So we've got some little seedlings here. They're just marigolds. They're starting to get their proper leaves. Did anyone grow vegetables from seed? So I know these are only flowers, but did anyone have a greenhouse or a cold frame to grow things in? There's some other flower seeds here growing. I think they need a bit of thinning out. Some more flower seedlings here. Very soft. They're looking pretty healthy. I think I need to thin these out a little bit. Let's have a look at some of the things outside. There's a lovely magnolia tree. There's lots of bulbs in there. They've not come out yet though. What else do we have? Oh, some flowers that have come up. Can anyone tell me what this one is? Primula. Primrose. And a geranium. So my last question is, did anyone share their home with a four-legged friend? Some of you already know Sasha. She's a pat dog. So she comes to visit some people at the Hawthorns care home. So I say hello to everybody there. We miss you. Did you ever have a pet? So a dog or a cat or anything a little bit more interesting? Chickens, rabbits, guinea pigs. We'd love to hear about them. So if you could let us know. And we're happy to receive any pictures of your lovely animals to cheer us up today. So thanks for joining us. And hopefully you've had a nice time thinking about home and garden in the years gone by. Okay, goodbye.